Good evening, folks. My name is Kyle Delfing, and I'm running with the People's Party of Canada. A little bit about myself. I have a background in logistics and ranching. I recently have been an entrepreneur for the last 5 years, building a moving company on a very limited budget. We're now doing quite well, servicing customers across Canada and here in the Norfolk Valley Shuswap. I'm running with the People's Party of Canada. I'm running with the People's Party of Canada because it runs on 4 basic principles: personal responsibility, individual freedom, respect, and fairness. Really what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is governing on behalf of all Canadians again. What does that mean? Well, first we're going to get the budget in order because we need to respect everybody's wallet. Everybody remembers 2015 when the Liberal promise was we'll run a few small deficits of $10 billion and then we're going to have the budget balance itself. Well, it hasn't happened, so somebody has to step in and balance that budget. We're the only political party this election that's actually proposing to balance the budget. We're running a country on credit and we're giving away quite a bit of money while we do it. We're going to be pulling in the foreign development aid. What does that mean? It's not that we're going to be bringing in foreign aid, it's foreign development aid. We spent $250 million on a pipeline in China last quarter. We can't even get pipelines built in Canada. That's not right. If we bring in foreign development aid, we can save somewhere around $8 billion a year. Corporate welfare is another thing we want to stop. You guys may have heard of Loblaws, the $12 million freezers. I think they posted profits of $1 billion last year. Do you really think they needed our taxpayer money for $12 million worth of freezers to fight climate change? And that's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, this climate crisis narrative. We all know climate change exists. 41 billion years ago, the Earth wasn't even inhabitable by our species. If it wasn't for climate change, none of us would be able to exist today. It's going to continue, and there's nothing taxation will ever do to stop it. So we're the only party up here that's not proposing the tax with the carbon tax. And we're also not going to be spending money on initiatives around the world trying to fight climate change on a global scale, especially in places like China. I don't know if you know, but there's a city in China that's grown over the last 20 years. It went from 350,000 people to 26 million people. Last year, it created 1 million millionaires. In this country, we only have 1.3 million millionaires, and they weren't created last year. We need to start worrying about problems here in Canada. The governments up here that are all proposing these worldwide policies about climate change are forgetting about the fact that we live in a global economic, we live in a global industry. And what we have to do is compete on a global scale. Even as small business owners here in North Okanagan, there are manufacturers that do sell to other countries. If we don't have a tax plan that's advantageous for them to grow, they're going to have a hard time. So that's why we're looking at getting rid of 3 out of the 5 tax brackets for the working man. We're going to raise the tax exemption from $12,000 to $15,000, which means any senior that's on CPP, OAS, or GIS won't be paying federal income tax anymore. After that, the $15,000 to $100,000 will be a flat tax of 15%. Other ways we're going to help business in this country is by reducing the corporate income tax, and there's a lot of small business owners in here that are corporations. We want to reduce it from 15% to 10%. That we're hoping will make it easier for us to compete on a global scale economically, because we really need to focus on that, ladies and gentlemen. Climate change has been happening for a long time, and another thing that happens is our stock markets, our financial markets, they have ups and they have downs. So if we max out our GDP to debt ratio, which is what one of the parties proposing up here, who says they created 1 million jobs in the last 4 years, but for some reason they need to continue to run deficits and they have to increase, and they got to go from 20 billion to 40 billion. Why? If the economy is that great, why is that party wanting to run another $96 billion in deficits? We're the only party that's looking at going. Last year, the Liberal Party posted an $8 billion surplus before they decided to go into a deficit, helping their friends and family, not helping us. Let's look at what happened with Gerald Butts. His wife is now a director on the board of a cannabis company out in Ontario. She's making big money. Ladies and gentlemen, the Liberal government's waving the corruption in front of us. It's got to stop. And a long time ago in the 90s, we were at this point where we had this brand new party. We're the People's Party of Canada. We're a conservative-based party, libertarian socially. We have 315 candidates running across Canada, which gives us the opportunity to really put a foothold into Parliament this year. You made history once before in 1993 when you hired Darrell Stinson as your MP. He was a strong man, he had common sense, he was like us, just common folk. I'd like to get to Parliament, and I'd like to be your guy in Parliament. I'd answer your questions straightforward. I don't believe in beating around the bush. I can't, if I speak to you double talk today, don't tell it like it is. Thank you.